Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar from Reputation.com about effective reputation experience management strategies. I'm Tim Rose, I'm the editor of AM, and I'll be chairing the webinar today. In a moment, we've a couple of expert presenters for you who'll be sharing their expertise and valuable insights in the industry and on this topic. So they comprise Christopher Eden, who's the marketing manager for the UK for Reputation.com. Plus, with him is Amanda Buckley, who is the CRM manager at Acorn Motor Group. In a minute, I will hand over to Chris. But before I do, can I just remind you how you can get involved? So while you're in listen-only mode, you can type in any questions. Probably to the right of your dashboard, there should be a Q&A tab. So please, while you're listening, do enter any questions you want to put to our guests today. And we've got about 15 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes of Q&A towards the end. So as I say, type in your questions and we'll make sure we got time to cover those off. But that's enough from me for now. So I'll pass over to Chris to start the presentation, please.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar today. So as Tim mentioned, my name is Chris. I'm the marketing manager for Reputation's UK operations. I'm joined today by Amanda Buckley, who's Acorn Motor Group's CRM manager. For a webinar today, that should take around 45 minutes or so with questions titled, What Makes an Effective Reputation Experience Management Strategy? So as Tim mentioned, the session, we've got about 30 minutes of content just to break it down for you, about 10 or 15 minutes of questions. So if you do have any questions, feel free to, don't be shy and send them across. So the idea for this webinar is really to be as slide light as possible. With that in mind, we've actually only got a few for you today, just before Amanda and I begin our discussion. So we'll start with a quote from a guy called Ted Sauder. Now, Ted is Google's head of retail, and it's really this quote that gave us the idea for today's session. Just to give you some context, back in November, Ted spoke at our annual Transform event about how Google predicts that due to COVID, retail and a few other sectors, including automotive, have seen almost a decade's worth of digital transformation in just a few short months. And so we thought, let's talk about this. We reached out to Amanda to ask us to join us today, primarily to talk about how Acorn found the back end of 2020, and also some of the changes that the group have made as a result of what Ted was talking about. Sorry, I got mixed up. The webinar will be more conversational, which is why we don't have too many slides for you. So once we get introduced, we'll stop sharing and we'll begin properly. So AM told me there's over 100 people registered for today, which, as you've just seen then with my stutter, doesn't put my mind at ease. It's mine and Amanda's first time presenting for our companies today with a webinar. We are aware that with over 100 people registered, there will be people on today's session who are both aware of Reputation and Acorn Motor Group, and those who won't be. So with that being said, we'll get introduced and take a couple of minutes to talk about the two companies. So I'm not going to be that guy who goes through every single one of these stats one by one and reads everything on the screen, but just a quick overview. We are Reputation, formerly Reputation.com. We were founded in 2006 as the world's first online reputation management platform. Today, we've grown to have over 800 enterprise-class customers. We include 7 of the world's top 10 OEMs and 10 of the top 20 from the AM 100. In 2020, we created the RXM sector, Reputation Experience Management. So last slide from me, what is RXM? So RXM is essentially the merging online reputation and customer experience. We know that for many sectors, auto included, the customer journey almost always begins before a person sets foot in a dealership. The experience that they have when they're looking online and doing their research and the information that they find directly affects whether or not they choose you or they go to a competitor. Previously, for example, a marketing team may have relied on ORM to get better brand visibility and search via things like reviews. And on the other side, CX teams often relied on CXM via things like surveys to make sure customers like their brand and how they felt about a brand. It's no longer really enough to do one or the other, and the merging of these two categories has forced an evolution, and we call that RXM. So that's it from me. I'll pass over to Amanda to give you a brief introduction in Acorn Motor Group just before we get started properly. So over to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Introducing ourselves as Acorn Motor Group. We are basically based across Cheshire and Staffordshire. We have 4 franchises, which is Kia, Suzuki, Mitsubishi, MG, and we also have a separate entity, which is Specialist Cars, which actually specialises in your high-range BMWs, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, Ferraris, everything like that. We were part of other groups, so we've developed by taking over other groups and taking our actual values forward and bringing that into where we stand today. When we started with this, looking at this, we started with a reputation score of 702, and to date we are now at a reputation score of 839, with one of our best sites actually running at a reputation score of 843 today. Thank you, Chris. Next one. So we're very, very much a customer focused culture. So as a group, they brought me in as the CRM manager, and what we like to do is we actually like to communicate daily with all of our staff, with our department managers, so everyone within the business is aware of what we're looking for them, what we're available for our customers. We actually have a customer experience board, so we take people of all different levels within the business and we meet and we try to drive the best practice forward for our customers, but also for our staff. And we can look at areas there where we may be not succeeding in where we want to be, and also what we can do to help that customer experience better. Overall, what we've done is we've taken a view that we want to take our customers on the journey with us and for them to experience the actual enjoyment of purchasing vehicles, coming into our dealerships and dealing with everybody within the dealerships. We really promote the feedback from Google reviews, which is done throughout the business across all our different management systems that we use. And I actually we have a dedicated renewals team that work with me, and not just focusing on the sales side of the business, but we also focus on after sales and the F&I. Thank you, Chris. So our values, we hold our values very, very highly as a group and as an individual and as members of that group. What we do is we ensure our customers have all the information and advice that they need in a way that they can make an informed decision about what they want in a vehicle, owning a vehicle, and the aftercare that's involved with that. And what we want to do is even build and maintain those long-term relationships, which is what all groups want to do. But we want them to recommend us, so people are happy to continue the business with us, to continue coming into the dealership and to be happy with each of our dealerships and feel comfortable. And especially in light of all the last year, that they have the confidence in us as a group to be able to continue and not in the knowledge that we are looking after them at all time. We really like to demonstrate a high regard for the communication side of the business, and we also like to look at that from our team members and from our customers alike. Thank you, Chris. So what are our values? We value the customer experience. So we know our business is based around ensuring that our customers are happy, that they're comfortable. So we like to provide them with all the support and information that they need to make those decisions, but also then to maintain that relationship with them so that they will then continue to come back to us. And we do say what we're going to do. We continuously demonstrate the regard for communication and delivering honestly on a personal assurances to our customers. and team members. It's important that we don't forget all our team members, and Acorn Group is a big believer in looking after our customers and our teams to ensure that our business goes forward. To this end, we then will be delivering the outstanding results that we've been achieving so far. We like to embrace change. We like to utilise systems that will enhance our dealership and enhance the experience for our customers, and we want to enjoy what we do. And if we enjoy what we do, our teams enjoy what we do, then our customers will enjoy the experience with us, and overall we'll then get the results, the exceptional results that we want. Thank you, Chris.
Well, thank you very much. So as I said, everyone, that is pretty much it now for slides. There's one later as Amanda is talking a bit more about some of the results they've seen, and then we've got a question slide, and that's it. So we'll begin properly now. Amanda, I know that in terms of what Ted Sauder at Google was talking about in terms of digital transformation, obviously things have been spread up. You partnered with Reputation, I think it was around September last year. What was your original problem? What was it you were looking to fix?
What it was, with growing as we are with it as a business and with sites and everything like that, we were finding that there was so much to do and so much to look at across Google. You take the Google My Businesses pages, of which at the moment I'm just running at 15. You've then got 8 sites to look at and run. You've then got all your social media channels. And what I was finding was that we weren't able to effectively monitor, apart from through Google Analytics and alongside our people that develop our digital side of it, we weren't getting a true reflection of where and what we were achieving in the online visibility across all of our businesses. And it was becoming very, very time consuming indeed. So just trying to assess where we were, take the analytics out of it, and the more you go into it, the more you can get deeper and deeper and get carried away and not actually look at the actual effects that you are looking for. Okay,
I understand. In terms of us as a company, how did you come across us?
We came across you with being a Kia dealership. Kia UK actually use Reputation as a main provider to ensure all their dealerships actually can see where their reputation is standing. And we then looked into it in a bit more detail and got in contact with yourselves to look at bringing that on across all of our sites and to be able to manage it effectively, because we'd seen the results that Kia were getting and the visibility that you could see for your sites across everywhere, and where you could focus your attentions on to see where we weren't perhaps coming up quite up to speed with everything. So it really was through Kia UK, through the relationship you have with Kia UK, that it was brought to our attention.
Okay, that's interesting, that, because Kia, the event that Ted Sauder at Google spoke at, we had 3 breakouts, one for cross-industry, one for hospitality. We also ran an auto one, and Kate McLaren at Kia generously contributed to that and presented. So it's interesting to know that you found us that way. In terms of digital transformation, again, going back to, there's going to be a common theme in terms of going back to what Ted Sauder at Google said. In terms of digital transformation, was RXM, Reputation Experience Management, was that on your radar before COVID, if we think back towards maybe the start or middle of 2020?
Probably not really, no, because when COVID came on board, I don't think it was quite there. We were still looking in the areas whereby we were doing it manually. We were looking at how the effects were coming on through Google Analytics, reliant on other companies that were used to provide us with the information to see how we were performing. And I found that we were looking more and more at the Kia side of the business and developing from the results that the transformation, the Reputation was giving us from there, and then trying to apply that into the other sites that we have and manufacturers that we have.
Okay. How does it work day to day when you're looking at the overriding reputation of all the different brands that you've got in the different locations? In terms of a typical day to day usage, how does that go?
I can, with the platform, the platform's totally user friendly. Every morning, it means that I can go in, respond to all our reviews, of which I'm running at the moment with a 98% response on reviews. From what would have taken, if you imagine 15 Google My Business pages, you had to go through individual ones to find the reviews, to then respond to them. With the reputation platform, you can go in, you've got pre-done responses ready for your customers. Every single one that you're linked with, for example, my surveys come through Judge Service. So all my Judge Service, all my Google My Business, all the Auto Trader, to name a few. And that means that instead of taking perhaps an hour out of my day, we're trying to find them, respond to them and everything, within, dependent on how many you have. For example, this morning, I think it was 22 alone this morning, and it took probably 15 minutes. It also means that you can daily look at your results to see where you are. I run on a 90-day rolling basis, as recommended by Kia, to be able to effectively see what our results are. So you're not looking at a complete trend. So if you're looking in just the month, yes, it will give you the results. You can see where you're going. But if you look at it on a rolling basis, you've got a true reflection of how your business is performing. Excuse me. So it also means with the platform, I can set up reports to go out weekly, daily, to not just my directors, but to my general managers, my department managers, and also my suppliers, to see, so they can effectively see where they're performing every day. But the platform it's so easy to use. But what it also does is ensures that all your listings are correct across the internet. Every day, your listing is checked to make sure there's no amendments to what you set, so you're constantly performing with the right information.
No, that's fantastic. You've kind of led really on a couple of the future questions, but it's a good thing really, because obviously it gives us time to break them down. So in terms of, if we think back to the wrecking ball slide that I showed earlier, we had online reputation, typically reviews, which is the bulk of most people's strategy, and I think especially so within auto. And you think on the other side of it, when it comes to maybe social or maybe surveys, in terms of what you use day to day, so you mentioned reviews, surveys, you mentioned business listings. If we start off with reviews, so since you've really embraced RXM, how do you think the review strategy has changed and evolved?
It's evolved now. So what I can do now is we work with CDK. So every time, for example, a customer comes into my dealership, we looked at it and we wanted to ensure that our customers would respond to our manufacturer surveys and would respond to a survey about us, but we wanted to get that instant, not so much recognition, but we wanted to where we stand with that customer as they've left our business that evening. So what we do is we put an email out or a text message to every single customer that comes into our business across our after sales, thanking them and also asking them, the manufacturer surveys coming through, please respond to it. But in the meantime, would they leave us, for example, a Google review? And this has had a massive effect on the reviews across our Google business. But it means you're getting the customer's impression straight away and how they've dealt with them, and then more likely then to respond to the surveys that come through from the manufacturers. we've increased our reviews 164% by doing this in the last 90 days. So surveys go out from judge service across our sales side as well. We also, but what we're not doing is we're not hammering our customers with email after email, text after text saying, please do this, please do this. It's compact, it's to the point, and it's asking them, this is what, and taking them down the steps of, this is what will happen now in the process, now you've been into our business. So they're always made fully aware of what's going on. And it gives them confidence. It gives them confidence that we want to know what's happened within their journey.
And that's actually a really good point in terms of, and it's advice really for anyone who's really on the call, whether you use Reputation or not. The quicker you can, I can't recall the exact stat, but it is the quicker you can ask a customer after a visit to leave a review. Every hour that passes, something like 20 or 30% less likely to actually give you that review. So if you can do it within an hour or so, you definitely see a better response rate. My next question, Amanda, is really, it's essentially the same question, but for, let's say, survey. So you mentioned you use surveys primarily as review requesting. How do you think your survey strategy has evolved?
Well, I work very closely. One thing with Reputation is you really do get the support from everybody within the business. So if you've got ideas, you've got questions, if you're not sure about how you're performing, or if the performance is not doing what you think, you have an account manager. I work closely with Sally Tunney, who is always there at the end of the phone, and Michael Feeney for me. And what we're now developing is the instant surveys. So it literally is a quick note out to the customers, whether it be sales, after sales, just saying, how did we do? So, and lit 5 stars and rate us on that. This can then be, with the Reputation platform, this can then be pushed to wherever the reviews are perhaps low. So your review spread is also a part of what makes up your Reputation score. So what we want to do, so if we're getting a huge response on Google, but not much on social or Auto Trade, the quick surveys, and it will direct the customers to respond to those sites where we need the reviews to be. Therefore, Google will then recognise that your reputation across there is spread across various platforms rather than in one big place.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Are there any other aspects of the platform, not necessarily the platform, but your wider RXM strategy, apart from reviews and social, reviews and surveys that you'd want to mention? You mentioned business listings, for example, with 15 sites, 15 GMBs.
We've got 15 Google My Business sites, because obviously for the sites we have all different aspects of them. We like to ensure people can find us. So we have those. We work very closely with Brand 12, our digital people, to ensure that we are getting the results and that everything is correct. Developing our websites, it's a daily development. So what we want to do is we're in constant contact with each other in ensuring that we are always at the top of our game. And Reputation, again, gives us this, because if we perhaps see a dip in social media, it's highlighted straight away. That is then passed to Brand 12, get the reports from Reputation, so they can assess daily and weekly and monthly as to how they're performing, if we've not got the search options, if they're not performing. So we're constantly ensuring that each aspect of our business, so that we perform to the greatest possible standard that we can. We want to excel, and we aim to excel and make ourselves, so that we can provide and are renowned for the customer experience within our dealerships.
Okay. My next question is about day-to-day. So in terms of your day-to-day RXM strategy, who within the business is involved in it? Which departments? Obviously, you don't need to name people specifically. But in terms of day-to-day, how does that work? How is it managed?
It's managed by myself, all the department managers and their general managers all daily look at their figures, see where they are, assess them, assess what reviews are coming in. They're all aware of what, right up to director level, everybody's aware of what reviews are coming in. If we do see a problem, then it gives us the ability to be able to action that problem straight away, and speak to the customer rather than waiting or them passing it from one person to the next. So again, it's having an effect on the customer in the response time. So we're all involved. Everybody within the business is involved in. We look at the scoring, we look at the reviews coming in, we look at every aspect, and that we are a team. It isn't just a decision from up at the director level or whatever level. It is for all of us, and it's for all of us to ensure that we give the best experience and we have the best reputation that we possibly can to build our customer relationships. We action information straight away, and it's therefore we can actually hand on heart say, our customers are so important to us, and therefore if there is a problem, but on the other hand as well, we also speak to our staff when they've had the great reviews come in. We also speak to them, let them know that they've had the good reviews come in. This gives them a boost as well. And again, all it's doing is contributing towards that team effort that we all so much depend on. I wouldn't be here without everybody that helps me do my job. And I know they rely on me to make them aware of anything that may be happening within the business that we need to look at. And that's what we are. We're a family, we're a team, and and our customers are part of that as well.
Mm. If we think back to, again, sort of around the summer last year, when sort of the tender went out and you were looking at our platforms, obviously you chose us, and that's fantastic. Is there any one thing that reputation do as a business that perhaps others don't, that maybe influenced you? Is there any one thing that is sort of separates us?
I think the platform has a big part of it. I think the relationship that is built initially, for example, by Michael Feeney with ourselves, and it really is the interaction as well. It's a big thing about taking on a package or a new system to ensure that you've got the confidence in the company that you are going to be dealing with to give you the results you want and to actually perform to what you've said you will do and help them along. But we joined in September. It's not an overnight thing in sorting it out. It took us 3 months to set it up and to be able to start running and seeing effectively where we were with the other sites. But when I started running with one of the other sites, as I say, I started at 702 with one of them, and it's now sort of up there, about 10 points behind my best site. And that is in a few short months because you've got the focus. But as I say, the biggest thing about it was the people. We're very, very much people, and the support, because That's what you need. You need to know that you can pick up the phone if you've got a problem and have that reviewed, and not have the worry as a person running the platform that you're going to be shot down because you might be asking something very, very obvious. It doesn't matter what you ask. The support team have been amazing. The support team came on board on a meeting with myself, Graham 12 and Sarah O'Brien, who does all our marketing. We had a meeting last week in order to be able to, were the areas that we could develop with Reputation to enhance your platform and enhance what we want from you as well. So, and that's the difference. That's the difference going forward.
Okay, no, I appreciate you saying that as well about the team. There's about 35 of us in the UK, 10 or 15 or so in DAC that make up the wider EMEA region. Automotive is our biggest sector, definitely in Europe. It switches in the US between healthcare and automotive, as you can expect, but automotive is a key focus. And yeah, it really is great to see that. Obviously, we do try and do it like more like a partner relationship rather than just customer supplier. That's the complete opposite of what we want. So it's great you said that. Now you've mentioned your reputation score a couple of times.
Oh yes.
So we prepared.
We're very proud of it.
we prepared this short slide. Again, just as a couple of the other slides earlier on, we won't go through every single one, but just in terms of some of the results that you've seen, because I think they paint Acorn in such a really good light. You're now at 4.8 out of 5, which is absolutely perfect. We typically say, contrary to popular belief, you really don't want to be at 5 stars because it can look fake. It was just in the news earlier this week. I think it was Monday. I was reading an article on BBC, and they were saying that the headline was "Leading UK Brands Caught Forging Reviews." And I think sometimes when you see 5 stars, that's what you think. Like you said earlier on, 92% response rates to all inbound reviews. That's absolutely fantastic. Previously, it was 52. I've got here. Do you try and is that a key focus in terms of responding to those reviews? Not just negative, but positive as well.
Oh yeah, completely. Every morning, it's my first job is sign onto the platform and respond to the reviews. It's important. People have taken the time to let us know about our business, so it's important that we recognise our customers and are grateful for the fact that they've done that and respond to them. Mm-hmm. But as I say, the biggest benefit is you have such a selection of things to be able to choose from. You can apply them specifically to what the customers have said in the reviews. And in the main, we don't just get a rating, we get our customers leaving reviews. And again, we can act on those straight away. I can see daily if we might have a problem area. If a customers mention something in a review that they weren't happy with, that's straight back to the team, the department manager, the general manager, the team, to say, look, we've fallen down in this area. What can we do to review that and get in touch with the customer and work to rectify that? So it really is every day we're looking at. It's so important that it's looked at every day, not just, oh, well, great, we've got another review or anything, to analyse them and to see. We also work with a system called Workplace as well, which I think is a Facebook type system. We're all on there. Every single member of our company is on there, and we interact on there. We let our staff know what reviews they're getting, how they're doing, everything like that alongside. And it's great to let them have that recognition. They've worked hard, and that is rewarded in a review for our company, and we recognise that.
Well, on the bottom right there, you can see the big green blob. It looks like on the screen, but what that is, it's a sentiment map. So, as just for the benefit of other people on the call, as reviews and feedback come in, the platform has quite a big AI side to it. And what it's able to do is it's able to analyse reviews and other feedback to see if there's key trends that come in. And you can see here, I mean, the sentiment map for Acorn again is all pretty all green as you'd expect. But some of the things that you just mentioned then in terms of staff, that's second only to sales in terms of when people leave that feedback, the sentiment behind that feedback being so positive that, as I say, it's second only to sales.
Yeah, we're very proud of them. We're very, very proud of them, and we all work together. We all work together, and it's important, you know. And they ask the customers, you know, before they leave, have we done everything that we can to ensure the journey you've had with us is to your complete satisfaction? You know, and it's showing the work we're doing, the work our teams are doing to ensure that our reputation and our visibility and everything to promote our company with its values and what we stand for, then it's very, very important to us. Our teams are very, very important to us, along with our customers as well. We want our customers to go away happy.
I think when you've got that commitment amongst the wider business, I think that really does show, not only in the sentiment map, obviously you can see that some of the key learnings there, but really, again, you've mentioned it earlier on, but your reputation score, I've got 275 above the industry average, but I've also got your full list on my second screen. Acorn Crew, these renew every 24 hours. Acorn Crew 812, Acorn Kia 729, Acorn Aston approved used 751. So I mean they're phenomenal results, and that is the one figure which to me is proof of the wider buy-in. That's sort of the killer stuff for me.
Yeah, but what the platform does is it enables me to see where I'm falling down at the other sites. So, or not so much falling down, is where we need to review. We do have things that we've brought up with reputation. For example, we hold multiple Kia dealerships. We can only apply one social media page to it. So now we've then got to look at setting up new social media pages for each site. That is something we can do, but then that's going to affect our scoring, because at the moment we've got one that is working well, and you're starting from scratch with those social pages. So that's one thing reputation have gone away to look at, to say, okay, well, why can't we apply that? All the information is going out across social about those multiple sites, so therefore we should be able to pull, and the reviews are going into the one site, so we should be able to take that information and apply it to across as an average across the sites that are involved with it. So that's one thing I was working with Miguel with last week, and as I say, reputation are always open to suggestions, anything that can help you, which will then go on to help other dealerships. But the development and the effectiveness for us, that's what we're working towards.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say just from a personal point of view as well, when it comes to the company, I've been here over 3 years now. It's a great place to work, and I think partially it's because the company has a similar ethos when it comes to customer and user feedback, as well as employee feedback. It's not just, we don't just ask customers for feedback and then we implement some and we don't really consider others. Everything genuinely gets looked at, and if we can make the platform better, that's great, and we'll do it. And it's the same with employee feedback as well. So it's good you mentioned that. My last question is, I suppose, quite vague. In terms of what advice you'd give to other brands, bigger or smaller, up and down the country. It could be a single location, could be a big multi-location company. What advice would you give to a company like that who maybe are in the same position now as Acorn were about 6 months ago?
I can only recommend them to talk to Reputation. As I say, we've got multiple manufacturers. We worked with Kia. This is how we came across Reputation. We've now applied those sentiments across MG, Mitsubishi, Suzuki, and our specialist cars, our approved used cars. So we're taking those. So if you've got people out there and you value your customer experience and how your group is doing, then yes, there are various other companies out there that are working towards what Reputation does, but to have it all in one place, to have it go back, review how many Google My Business listings you've got, ensure that you're covering each and every one of them. Is it something, are your website people working alongside you and looking at all areas of your digital image across the internet? We've seen from lockdown that it's become so online based. You need to ensure that what you have out there is correct, but have you got somebody in there that can audit that daily to ensure that information is correct? So, and then if you need to change anything, just take, for example, if you need to change your hours for a bank holiday, you'd have to go into every single platform to be able to do that. All you do is go into Reputation. You do it once and that's it. It's updated throughout your sites. It's key. It's utilizing the time to ensure that you are assessing your online presence daily. That's all it is, and what you have to do to work to get to that, and to have that information at your fingertips, but to also know how your customers value you, and where they're valuing you. You will find review sites pop up that you don't even know that you were related to, because they feed from other review sites, and it's just that process of then getting involved with them to ensure you can get the right response, and that response doesn't go unanswered. And that's the main thing. One of
the things funny you said about business listings, and obviously as you grow and you get more business listings, you need to make sure that information is as accurate as possible as any one time, because anyone can go and edit, for example, a GMB listing. I can go and change the phone number of Asda down the road if I want to. Everyone runs into this every now and again. I about 2 weeks ago, we wanted to know whether Iceland, about half a mile away from the house, was open. The GMB listing for Iceland on Wavertree Road said it was open at 7 and it was shut at 6. And we got there obviously thinking we had an hour to spare, and we didn't. So it does happen. They are real world examples of where that customer journey begins. Doesn't matter whether you're doing your shopping, your food shop, or whether you're buying a car, whatever it might be. That journey starts before someone sets foot on your facility.
It's your shop front. So whether they drive onto your forecourt or they switch on the computer, it is your shop front, and you ensure it's right on site. You have to make sure it's right online as well.
I agree. So I believe we've had some questions come in. I can see a few come through, but I'll just go back to the questions and pass over to you, Tim.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Amanda. That was really, really insightful presentation. Thank you. I made a few notes myself, but we'll start with the ones from the audience, certainly. So we make sure that we've covered those off. There is still kind of 5-10 minutes to allow for this Q&A. So if anybody has a burning question they haven't yet typed in, then please do so. So one's come in asking, does the Reputation software write back into the DMS to enable surveys and campaigns to be run?
What is DMS?
I'll answer that for you, Chris. Yes, you can. You can use the quick surveys, and you can use the survey system with Reputation. That they can certainly. We're looking at integrating them with our new DMS system. So, but the facility that's there within Reputation is, if you can extract that as well by an Excel spreadsheet or whatever, you can actually upload that very, very easily if you can't get the integration. But yes, they do work with other sites and integrate into them.
Sorry, Chris, were you going to add to that, or?
No, no.
No, you-
All I was going to say was in terms of APIs and integrations, like Amanda said, in terms of where sometimes you might not even know that you have a review on a site, it might be so obscure. The platform itself has hundreds of APIs, and that's being added to all the time. So in terms of who we work with and who we can source and scrape data from, that gets added to on. I'd say probably a weekly basis.
Okay, thank you. Another question's come in. I might even shall I name check this one because he seems quite a fan. It's Don Felfall who says we're a user of the system, love it, really great facility, best in class, I believe. That is, I believe that's a UK metric, and how often is it recalculated? So I guess he's talking about the reputation score there. Is it?
Yeah, so I think what Don means in terms of if we go back to this slide here where we say Acorn Motor Group's reputation score is 275 above the industry average. It is a UK metric. It's taken from the platform has data of not only customers, I think I mentioned earlier in terms of 10 of the AM100's top 20, 7 of the top UK global OEMs. But in terms of a UK database, there's information in there from customers, and there's information there from brands who might not be customers, where we can still source that data on publicly available platforms like GMB or Facebook. And so we use that information, the platform uses that information automatically to generate a best in class and an industry average score. And then every 30 days or so that's updated, but it is UK specific.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned earlier, Chris, that automotive is your biggest sector. Why do you think that is?
It certainly is within Europe. I think the thing is with cars, there's such big ticket items that customers are more clued up than ever. It's not just about cost anymore. I think people are doing their research. People also see them as more as longer term purchases. I mean, a good example here would be I look at least one review, or I at least glance at the star rating of something I buy on Amazon that might cost £5. So of course you're going to do your research when it comes to buying cars. It's not just about cost for people. Not everyone's like me who just buys or leases a car and does it over 5 years to keep the monthly payments as low as possible. But if you're getting a car, it's 2-3 years plus. You're essentially going to be stuck with that car. You want to, you want it to make as robust a choice as possible. And it's not just about the sale as well. Things like after service and that. But I think within automotive, perhaps more than most, automotive tends to be at the forefront of stuff like this. I think reputation matters to customers.
Okay, thank you. And Amanda, I think you mentioned earlier about pretty much kind of everyone playing a part in the reputation of the business. But is there a particular kind of function, I guess, that's held responsible or kind of takes responsibility for managing the online reputation more than others, perhaps?
Yeah, I'd say that sort of that falls to me. That's and I then liaise with I'm the central point, so everybody comes to me. I go out to everybody in respect of what's happening, but they all have access to look at the information, and that's reviewed daily, weekly, monthly. It's brought in with part of their reviews, part of their weekly sales analysis. Everything was so focused on. We did a lot of work with Kia in regard to our customer experience, and we do that ongoing as well. And we've addressed that right throughout the business. But as I say, although yes, I look at it from a central point, because you do with anything like this need it looked at from a central point, but it's then sort of distributed out to whichever area needs it, whether it be above my sort of job description or below it. We ensure that everybody is involved and informed, which is which is the main thing.
Okay.
I think the stereotypical thing is that online reputation is more about brand, and so therefore it fits with marketing. Really, just to echo what Amanda said, we really think it is the responsibility of everyone. There's actually a great quote on, if you go to the Reputation website, reputation.com, there's a video on there where PSA Retail, Robbins and Days head of marketing and CEO, they came up to their Peugeot dealership, pretty much a stone's throw away from the office, and they filmed a video for us, like a case study video. And in the video, they essentially say how much the culture of feedback has changed since they've had a platform in place. The example they use is of the service team now being aware of and keeping an eye out for feedback, and the fact that customer could, doesn't matter whether they're buying a car or it's after sales or it's service or an MOT, no matter what it is, as soon as that customer leaves, they could leave feedback. And the example they use in the video, Robbins and Days, is that those service teams, doesn't matter whether it's people on the front desk or the sales team, service is my example, they are very much aware that customer could leave and then leave feedback when they get home, and it could be positive or negative. So yeah, I would say it's everyone's responsibility.
Okay, everybody plays a part, absolutely.
Yeah, and they take, sorry, Ted, they take pride in it. They take pride for us as a company and for themselves as well.
Yeah, I bet, absolutely. Question for you, Amanda. You mentioned earlier about having 15 Google My Business sites.
Yeah.
To my mind, isn't that's more than one per site, isn't it? So talk me through. I think you said about to cover kind of every aspect. Are you talking about you have one for the service side of the business and a separate one for sales, or talk me through that?
So we have our full key. We have our manufacturer ones, but we also have those for each site where they are. So we've got Kia Crew, we've got Kia Burntwood, we've got Suzuki Crew, Mitsubishi Halesowen. We've then got other aspects. We've got the approved used. We've also got specialist cars. So again, any point of our business whereby people have an interaction or want an interaction with us, we like to ensure that we have a listing that's going to bring them up the key information, that's going to show them who we are, what we are, when we're open, and how they can contact us.
Because I guess from what you're saying, you've obviously got customers of different parts of the business, and actually it's then allowing them to get the specific information, or in terms of reviews, a specific kind of reflection on that particular area of the business, isn't it?
That's right. And we have the main one, the main Acorn Motor Group, but then you take each of the sites individually, and it's amazing how quickly they mount up. It really is amazing how quickly they mount up. Yes, you could look to take those down, but they're working, the reviews are working, and if somebody goes in and wants to review on Acorn, if they can't find the actual site they've visited, they've always got the Acorn Motor Group. So what we're trying to do is cover off all aspects of where that customer can have that touch point with us.
Okay, thank you. Just going to do two more quick questions. Another one's just come in from the audience asking, how do you monitor and integrate with manufacturer CEM/CSI results and bring them in also? And do you prioritize a Google review over manufacturer? I guess that's aimed at you, Amanda. Is it?
Yeah. Well, Kia run their own reputation platform. So I also have my Kia sites on our own Acorn Motor Group platform. The Kia platform does include the manufacturer surveys, but our own platform doesn't include the manufacturer surveys. So, for example, our Kia, what was our Kia score on our own platform for Kia Crew, Chris? I think, is it about 8-14, something like that?
Let me just refresh and see if I can get a...
So, for example, our actual Kia site is running at 843 because that integrates the manufacturer surveys into it as well. whereas our actual one on our own Acorn Motor Group reputation platform is running slightly less because it doesn't include the manufacturer surveys. Unless you can get your manufacturer integrating with it. At the moment, Reputation are working on ensuring that both aspects, so the Kia aspect and our Acorn one, work together so it produces the same result, because we found that it wasn't actually sort of replicating, and we can only put it down to the manufacturer's survey. But so again, that's an area that we're working on with them. What was the manufacturers, you can't, unless they're working with Reputation, you can't bring them. You could certainly recommend to your manufacturer that they integrate, but Reputation is mainly based on the rest of your online presence and everything like that.
Yeah, the Acorn Kia score I've got down here, I've got two. So Acorn Kia Crew is 8, and Acorn Kia Bearwood is 729. So both of them easily above industry average.
But the difference in the two scorings is the manufacturer surveys for what the manufacturer monitors on their Reputation side.
Okay, fantastic. Last quick question from me. Given the last 12 months that the industry's had, have you seen any changes in consumers' expectations from the result, either from the kind of analysis of the reviews that you're getting or just kind of more broadly? Probably interested in a view from both of you, really.
Yes, I think they've become a lot more focused on being able to have the ability to purchase vehicles online and to have a smooth process online, and the contact with our teams as well. That really has come across in a lot of the reviews that we've seen. When they've had the car delivered, the presentation's right, and you can gain so much information from these reviews that they leave. I think a lot of people will stay online, but on the other hand, a lot of people are looking forward to getting back into the dealerships. But looking at it from the after sales side, we've been very, very careful in monitoring that our customers are safe and feel safe within our dealerships with the distancing and the procedures we've put in place for COVID, and that they're completely happy. And I think it will carry on. But I think you will still get the people that want to walk in and come in. But I think people are a lot happier and a lot more confident online now. And our reviews go to show that confidence is developing, and they've got that in us.
Yeah, people definitely are a lot more confident. There's a lot more emphasis placed on, as you said earlier, you sort of digital front door. In terms of the actual reviews itself, it, as you would expect, more and more mention keywords like hygiene or COVID or cleanliness. After the initial, back in around June, Google actually switched off reviews for a lot of GMB sites, and it was purely because they didn't want to have reviews which might name check people and get them into all sorts of trouble or issues further down the line. But when those reviews came on, and the sort of the bottleneck of reviews, because you could still leave reviews during that period, they just weren't getting posted live. After that initial bottleneck, our research showed 100% growth, 100 times growth in reviews. People using reviews as a way of feeding back. And I think as well, people wanted to. I think certainly during the first lockdown, there was people felt like they wanted to help businesses out. We hadn't really been through anything like this before, and I think people use reviews as a way of helping businesses out and leaving feedback that would hopefully get them more customers. But yeah, in terms of growth, it was about 100 times after that initial bottleneck. It was huge.
Wow. I guess any progressive business looks at feedback as it's something to work on. It's not necessarily an issue for them to kind of tackle, but it helps them slowly move forward. Well, I'm afraid we've run out of time now for the Q&A, but I would like to thank Chris from Reputation and Amanda from Acorn Motor Group for a very insightful presentation today. Viewers, thank you for joining us. If you want to watch it again, you'll soon receive an email with a link allowing you to do so. Plus, you'll soon find it under the webinars tab on AM Online in the future. Our next webinar coming up is on April the 6th, so please keep an eye on your daily emails from us for more details on that. So again, thanks to our presenters and thank you for joining us. Goodbye and stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.